Howdy there, folks! How are y'all doing? My name is Rees, and welcome back to our Tekkit 2. I did almost say Final Fantasy. Let's Play Adventure, where we're getting close to the 1-year anniversary. This series first launched, if I'm not mistaken, and this was based on something that I looked up a few weeks ago, so I could actually be mistaken, and even now as I'm talking about it, I've made the decision that I am going to very quickly negotiate over to a different page on the browser in front of me while I continue to speak in a sort of like, what would the correct term be? Stilted manner, possibly, would be the right word for that. Well, I continue to mumble and grumble and try to distract you all and keep you from realizing that I'm currently moving the camera with one hand while typing with the other to look up the Tekkit series and invert the release date. Yes! The first episode of this series was published on September 1st with the, well, that was episode 00. Episode 1 came out on the 4th, and then 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I was going ham on these for the first little bit there because I was trying to make sure that I had a good foundation for folks who, wow, I actually did one every day. Gee golly, I did not realize that. I did one every day all the way up until September 18th. Wowzers! That's impressive. I wanted to make sure that if someone found the first episode, they had more to watch. And, yeah, well, the series is not ending anytime soon, despite what some of you may have been told. By some of you, I mean channel members. And by been told, I mean you watched the channel member podcast where I kind of discussed winding down the series. But the truth is, we just have a lot to finish. We have a lot that I want to see done before I move on to something else. So we got to get high voltage solar panels built. We need to start a war between two factions so that we can profit off of it. You know, we've got to do that. We've got to finish the tower and build my new executive office suite at the top. Speaking of, I did ask whether or not you folks thought the tower would be a good idea, and I got nothing but people praising my design aesthetic and my plans and saying, go ahead with the tower. Definitely everyone said, go ahead with the tower. And so, I based on all the comments you see on the screen, you can see the consensus was clear. Build that tower, and I have been. I have been, but I'm not going to show you that over there. I'm going to actually take you up here. Now, if you're wondering, today I do actually have a plan. We are actually going to, we're going to do some Tekkit things today, because it's been a little while since we've done some Tekkit things, and I've got a couple of different comments that I want to go over, because there's some interesting suggestions that have been made. But here's where we are so far with the tower, and I kind of wanted to just give you a glimpse of it. So, of course, we have that. They go in kind of tiers, and that's how I view it, not necessarily as the floors, because each tier so far is 3 floors. I kind of wish I'd made them 5 floors, so I might change that. I mean, that'll be a pain in the neck, but I can do it. But, so, as you can see, you got this first one that goes out 3, and then each subsequent floor goes in a few, in all sides except for one. So here's kind of what I'm thinking about doing on this side. It does go in there, but you'll notice it doesn't go in here. And what I'm thinking about doing is with each tier going in another 3 blocks, or two blocks, depending on how you count it, and keep that side flat so that as it climbs, that side slowly shrinks in all the way to the top. And then on this side, I'm going to have a bit of a bulbous growth on the back. I don't know how else to describe it. It's going to come out a few blocks, and that's where the teleporters are going to be. And there's going to be enough teleporters. I mean, the original plan was to have enough teleporters to teleport you to every floor. But that's inconceivable at this point, just because of the sheer size, I realize, and how many floors they're going to be. So if we have a look inside of here, and before we go in, one thing. Because of the spacing, these sides don't have a central pillar, so I've been experimenting with just having bigger windows, and you can kind of see how that's panned out down here with this window. I think that looks pretty interesting, and I thought about having different sizes. So right now they're alternating in this fashion, but I'm not sure if they're going to continue to do that. And I thought I could even maybe have like a sword. So have 1, 2, 3 that are the same size, and then have them kind of go out to the side, and then have them get narrower, and then light it up in such a way that it looks like a sword, maybe a pickaxe on the other side. There's a lot of interesting things we can do here. And I haven't necessarily landed on any of them as a certainty, but that's kind of where we're at. Now, right now, these aren't filled in, so I can just kind of fly in. And I've not finished the glass floors on these levels. But as you can see, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks tall, with the glass floor and then a glass ceiling. And, look, took inspiration from the Yogscast, because of course I did. You can't play Tekkit without knowing about the greatest Tekkit series ever made. And I don't mean Tekkit Legends, but thank you for thinking that. That's very kind. This is such a great idea, with the light rings that you fly through as a quick and easy way to, you know, let's say we have one teleporter at the base of maybe not each floor, but at the base of each tier. And then you can just kind of fly between them. And the idea is that each of these is going to have some sort of automation taking place. So, like this floor here, which is only a partial wraparound balcony situation, but it's got these set up generating diamonds, and it's generating so many diamonds that it's almost generating too many diamonds. We have 36,000 diamonds. If I need EMC, I don't even really need to ever go down where the reactor is anymore and get those diamonds. I haven't done that in real-life months. I don't need to. I've got diamonds being generated in there. I got diamonds being generated in here. It's fantastic. And then future floors, what I was thinking about doing with this floor here, for example, is essentially having a very similar sort of setup, but this is the metal floor. So all of the metals are produced here. And I don't just mean the metals that can be produced with the EMC. I think we have like a bank of iron, and then another bank of iron, but that iron specifically goes into, say, red matter furnaces and gets instantly cooked into the refined iron. And then we have, you know, copper and tin, but then also we have, because bronze, we have to cook the bronze. For some reason, you can't get bronze ingots with EMC. You can get the dust, and then that immediately goes into red matter furnaces, and that immediately gets cooked into the bronze bars. So instead of having that be a part of the assembly line down here, the way it is right now, basically eliminating both of these and just having it done on a floor that generates nothing but. And then, you know, I don't know, maybe this is like the floor that generates all the different types of plank in the game and all the different types of logs. And, you know, I don't know why we would do that. I don't know why we would need that. But the fact is, we could do it if we so chose. And maybe I so choose. I think what really matters right now, though, and the thing that we definitely need to focus on, is that the construct so far has now dwarfed the dwarf tower. And look at that wee little tower over there in the distance. Isn't it cute? Look how small it is. Look how old you've become, little tower of evil. Oh, this is fantastic. And yes, I do intend on putting an office at the top. Now, what that office is or how it works, I'm unsure. Now, I mentioned that today we were going to look at a couple of comments and kind of go over them. And one comment that I got was from channel member, so supporter GSNL, who said, I built my diamond farm with the blaze rod technique. So this is talking about the blaze rod technique that we've basically we touched on way earlier in the series, and there's an evolution of that being used again way down in the basement, where we're generating blaze rods and then splitting those into powder and then converting that into EMC. And our system is a little bit different than the standard. Our system is like generating rods from a solar flower or a power flower, if you're so inclined, or a light flower even. You know, why not? And an energy flower, potentially even. An EMC flower, if you're so inclined. A bud of, well, you get the idea. And it's being ground up and then dumped into a different quantity. It's not like circular in any way. And that's just one of the options. That's great. What I wanted to get at, though, in this comment is specifically there is a mention of a gravity pipe. Why have I never heard of that? Why have I never heard of a gravity pipe? So here it is, and it's just part of additional pipes, which I say that like, well, you know, additional pipes. It's not in every pack. Not every pack has additional pipes, but we've used pipes from additional pipes before. I can't remember if in this series, but in other series. Extracts items slowly, so that might be the trick there. Slowly from the bottom of an inventory without needing power. So what we're doing right now, and I'm not saying a gravity pipe is going to work in every situation, because like it said, it did say slowly. It's essentially it's a hopper that works with pipes. And what it is doing is it is extracting items from here. You know, like right now what we're doing is we've got the wooden pipes with this thing. But you see how infrequently it actually pulls the diamonds out. It takes a little while. So that's why I say this wouldn't work with something like, let's say, if it's generating trees, if it's really all that slow. One thing I've never tried to do is hop into a golden transport pipe, and I'm assuming that simply will not work, because I think you have to have some type of an input pipe. But obviously, as you can see here, we're going to go ahead and give it a go. Because the one thing I would hate to do is bring up the idea and then never, like, attempt it. So there you go, and then I throw those in there. And as you can see, nothing is happening. It is filling up with diamonds, though, because it's now viewed as an inventory. So it's so that's not going to work. So I guess that's the reason why that exists. The idea that, you know, if you can't use a hopper, make a pipe that's basically a hopper that will work. I assume it'll work as an insertion pipe. So that's the first thing we're going to look at today. There's another comment that I've got that I've had this one requested a couple of times. I'm not sure if it's by the same individual, but I did want to talk about it today because it looks like an intriguing idea. So we need iron, we need stone, and we need gray stained glass, but I'm assuming it's just glass. So glass, we can get just regular old vanilla glass. Stone, did it say specifically any type of stone? It looks like just any kind of regular old stone ought to do the trick. So if we grab, probably not cobblestone, I will note that. It's probably not wanting that. But we'll get a bit of stone, and then the final thing was iron. And I wish I'd gotten a bit more of the glass. I wish I'd just done stacks. That would have made more sense, because this is not going to have an EMC value. So actually, let me go ahead and correct my mistake. I'll get a stack of stone, I'll get a stack of iron, and I'll get a stack of glass. And now we can make a number of these, and then even if we don't use them, the resources required are very inexpensive. And that'll get us 32 of these with plenty of glass to spare, so we'll throw that in there. You know what they say, if you waste nothing, you want nothing. Although I'm not sure if that's true. Like, if I never waste a drip of milk, that doesn't mean that at some point I'm not going to want a new PlayStation, you know? There's rumors of a new one coming out soon. Probably just a slim. I've seen that it's going to have, like, possibly an external or an add-in DVD/Blu-ray. It would be Blu-ray drive. I don't know why I said DVD. That's a cool idea. Instead of having two systems on store shelves, have one and then an add-on. That's the way better way to approach it. Gosh, I love physical media, though. Okay, so there goes that. We're going to take that out of there. Going to affix the gravity-fed diamond pipe. And I do already see one issue with it. So can we not get this placed? There we go. We're probably, yeah, I see that diamond up there just with no clue of where to go. That's what we want to avoid using these. And we're going to need one additional one. I see that now. And because remember, there was a pipe pulser in that thing's position before. And that pipe pulser is no longer there. So we're going to go ahead and add some more pipe plugs. I'm going to grab a bunch of them. Because I think what we're going to end up doing is replacing all of these. I don't know if that actually helps from a lag perspective, because I would imagine if you can't see these lights, are they pulsing? Sometimes, you know, like if something is occluded, it won't actually do its animation. It looks like it always is, though. So we have a bunch of these always running, always being animated, always performing some type of logic. I imagine that would probably contribute somewhat to lag, which, to be fair, we don't have much of, which I'm grateful for. But it looks like this is definitely keeping up. I'm kind of curious to see, though, how quick it really is, because it made it sound like it was really, really slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 2 different chests. In this case, we'll just go ahead and use alchemical chests, because that's what we're using anyway, although I'd imagine, in fact, I'm positive it wouldn't actually matter. We'll get some gold pipes so we can sort of see them go, and then we'll get a stack of something cheap. Literally nothing on this screen is cheap. Even the dragon egg is quite expensive. Could we have an army of dragons? The idea has only just occurred to me that we could possibly have an army of dragons if we wanted to pursue that. So we'll get sandstone. You could say that makes no sense. Why did I pick that? And my response to you will be, why wouldn't I pick sandstone? You know what I mean? Like, that just seems fun to me. Okay, well, sure. You know what? Yeah, we'll have that. That's fine. We'll have a little bend. There's no reason for it, other than I'm still trying to get used to this new controller I've got, and sometimes I hit the wrong buttons, but there you go. And then we'll fill that up with the sandstone, and slowly, Slowly. Slowly. It even says, slowly. Slowly! It's faster than that thing is! It is actually genuinely faster. If we come up here and we grab... Well, no, that won't work. I just realized that's not going to work. But if we, what I was going to do is try to like throw more diamonds in there, but I don't think we can shift-click diamonds into that inventory. What we can do though is we can get this pipe here and break it, replace it with the wooden one, and then affix that with one of these pulsers. And I put it back in here because I thought I wouldn't need it again. And what I did not anticipate was needing it for demonstration purposes. But we'll throw the sandstone in there. And as you can see, that is just absolutely nothing compared to this. Is it gonna go? Look at that! Slowly, it said. Channel member, supporter, longtime viewer, GSNL. Thank you. Thank you for telling me what your setup was. Thank you for sharing. I love hearing what people are doing in the game, by the way. If you want to leave a comment, let me know. Like, I don't always respond to them or address them in video, I realize. So you might have wondered, geez, does Rees not look? No, but I do enjoy reading and kind of seeing what everyone else is doing because I do take ideas from it. And it's also just interesting to see how other people are approaching the game. But my goodness, these are definitely the way to go. I feel like such a fool for not knowing about them sooner. Now, I do want to throw out there, it's possible that someone else might have mentioned them to me at some point. I'm not going to pretend like I am always paying like super close heed to every comment. I do read every comment, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I sort of mentally comprehend it, if you know what I mean. It's like when your dad is listening to you, and he's like, mm-hmm, but you know he didn't actually comprehend what you said. But if you ask him, like, what did I just say? Sometimes he'll come back with, like, exactly what you said. And you're surprised that he registered it, but you know he wasn't listening. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that. I've actually noticed that I'm starting to do that, but I'm really good at it. I described it to my brother the other day he was asking me a question, and I'll be fully frank with all of you. I was not, like, giving him my full attention. I was driving, and when I drive, my mind tends to be, one, on the road, and two, on a conversation I had with someone else that turned into an argument, like 12 years ago, and how I either won it or how I didn't win it and how I could have. And, you know, like shower thoughts, but on the road. But also it's on the road. So I wasn't, like, super paying attention to what he said. But like I described to him, because he asked, like, what did I say? And I just repeated back everything he had said to me in perfect order, like I had been paying the most attention. And it's like I told him, I was like, look, I have a very limited cache. So my brain can only actively process certain amounts of information at a time, but I have a very large amount of RAM. So you can just keep talking, and when I'm done thinking about whatever it is I'm currently thinking about, my brain will go through and rapidly access all of that memory. Like, it'll randomly, rapidly, almost like that's what RAM stands for. Now, RAM does stand for random access memory, but the RAM in my brain stands for rapid, right? It can rapidly access all of that information, and then I can come back and be like, okay, this is what he's talking about, and I can just be a part of the conversation like I was listening all along. So if I have a spaced out expression and I'm mumbling under my breath, I'm not paying attention to you. A part of my brain is, and as soon as you ask me a question, I'll be able to pull myself away from the present task and help you out. Okay, you just got to trust me on this, all right? And I think that might just be my dad energy, because as many of you know, I am a grandpuff. I am a grandpuff. Not a grandfather, I'm a grandpuff, and you're all my puffies. Oh, no, I don't like that. I wish I hadn't said that. I'll have to cut that. That's one of those things that you can't get away from. That's like the hashtag give cub pills that, unfortunately, Lucas Kits won't let die. I can't even remember how that started. I think I had a cold and was heavily medicated and a little bit silly. Listen. Puffies. Oh no. My little grand puffies. That's never gonna, that's gonna follow me and for the rest of my life now. I tried to make it Knucklehawkses. Actually, I still like Knucklehawkses. Knucklehawkses is a great term of frustrated endearment. This is great though. All right, I'm just gonna carry on. I can't believe I talked during all of that when I could have very easily just cut it out of the video. But this is quite the discovery. I am very grateful. So like I said, if you've watched the series and maybe you mentioned gravity pipes in the comments section before, and possibly I missed it, I'm very sorry. The comment I did see that kind of brought them to my attention was from channel member, supporter, long time subscriber across multiple channels now, GSNL. Thank you so much for that. So you're going to get the credit, but I do try to give credit where it's due in terms of not necessarily who says it first, but who gets it, like who sinks it in first. And that's going to be the case here, because on this next comment, I'm pretty sure I've seen this comment before, but I don't remember who said it. So this is from a fella named Brandon, who said you should look into setting up request pipes to ender chests. If you also have an ender pouch and remote order, you could access the full inventory of your factory from anywhere on the map. Could be useful, so you don't have to fly back and forth for just a few things you need. Now, I've had this suggested before, and I'm not, you know what, I can actually look up real quick just to make sure. I guess I can, well, no, I can do it with gravity pipe. Let me type in gravity. The only comment that's coming up when I search for gravity is from GSNL, so we can go ahead and say that he probably gave me that one. But then the remote, if I just type in remote, let's see. It was Brandon. Okay, so Brandon twice now, across a couple different videos, has recommended setting up the remote ender chests so that we can order anything from the production line wherever you are in the world, get a bag for it to work well. See, this sounds like a cool setup. This is going to be classic throwback Tekkit content, right? Like, I've done no research into this. I've never tested this. I'm only partially aware of what is being suggested to me. I don't know if I fully understand the concept or how to go about get it working. But gosh darn it, if we're not going to try our dandiest here, okay, to figure this out. So first off, we're going to look this device up. So this is called the remote order, and it looks like there's, oh gosh, there's, okay, remote orderer. There's a ton of different ones. They're all different colors. I don't know if those are required for the construction. Here we go. Type active requester. Lets you manually request items remotely. Can pull from any item source. You must right-click a remote orderer on this pipe. So in order, interesting. So I have to have a remote orderer as well. I guess I'll go ahead and add that. Oh, and then these are just different colors of them. Yeah, see, I'm not really sure what this is, but we got a remote orderer. That's not exactly what I wanted to do. I know that I don't have a programmer with this in there, a remote order logistics pipe. Are any of these blank? None of these are blank. In that case, I'll need to just make one. There we go. Go over here to the program compiler, and I will need to locate where this thing is, and I don't know where that would be. Fluid, tier 3, chassis, could be tier 3. Unlock? Gonna unlock tier 3 together, everyone! It could be in there, it might not be. We'll find out. I actually don't, can you find out by looking at this? It just says logistics programmer. To be fair, in the interest of full transparency, I absolutely did not scroll through the entire list of things that were available to me. So it is wholly and entirely possible that I simply neglected to thoroughly search the list of things that I've already unlocked, and it was already in there and not a part of tier 3. I wonder if we can fill these up. Like, is there a reason to have multiple logistics disks? Well, you know what? I guess in instances like this, where we're starting to have so many things that are unlocked, we might find it difficult to locate certain things. So it might make sense to have multiple ones, but then again, if you do what I do and you just have multiple logistics programmers, you don't really need to come in here and swap them out very often. So, yeah, look at this. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. This is called the remote. So I guess what I need to do is, can I go through these with the... No, I can't. I wanted to, like, scroll through them with a button on the keyboard. It doesn't look like I can do that. So we're going to go all the way to the top. And it is remote order. Oh, well, you know what? We should check the recipe and see what it says. Logistics... Okay, get out of here. Logistics, chassis, firewall. I mean, I'm just going to have to very slowly... Wait, what is that? Remote order or logistics pipe. I just found it. Was it there all along? I don't know. Compile. Compile that bad boy. Compiling it does not load it onto here. We've done this mistake in the past where I've thought that's the case, and it is in fact not the case, and I feel like a fool. What you need to do is hit flash once you've compiled it. So I'm not actually sure where it was over here, but what matters to me right now is that we've got it. Chassis 2 is something... Did we... surely we've unlocked Chassis 2. Can you only have so many things on the logistics disk, and maybe it undid that? I actually don't know. No, look at this. We got all these other logistics chassis, like chassis, logistics chassis MK2. Well, then you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't actually care. It does not matter, and I don't actually care. What can I get rid of in here? Like, if I wanted to make one of these, do I have everything? I have everything that I need. Yeah, I just got to get rid of something that's not important. Well, I mean, glowstone's important. I just don't need it right now. There we go. And that gets us the remote orderer. Oh, except it does need an ender. Okay, well, let's get rid of that then, too. And we will just grab a stack of ender pearls. We're kind of running out of space in this thing, aren't we? This is, we're going to have to start swapping things out. There we go. Do you reckon we'll need more than one? Should I just go ahead and make a few of them? I don't know why on earth we would need 5 of them, but I've done it and you can't stop me now. I'm going to take this one out, put that back in there, take those out, put that back in there. Get rid of this, and then, heavens, I don't know. Do I have an item frame on my person? I feel like I probably do when it's directly in front of me, and I just can't see it for one reason or another. Like, that tends to be the case. I do tend to have just... Unless item frames can be condensed, in which case they'll be in here. Well, there's no such thing as an I-10. We'll get a glass one. That'll make it invisible, and then we'll just, like, stick this up here for safekeeping. I kind of like that. That looks nice. I like the fact that it's invisible. It's a good touch. It's a really good touch. Same with this. Just occasionally go over here and, like, flip it. I mean, at this point, we no longer know what the correct orientation is. Or, you know what? There is that subtle highlight there that you could probably use to figure out what is the correct direction. Just going to leave it alone for right now, though. Just going to keep flipping it around and having fun with it. So, oof, we've got that, and we've got this. Heavens help me. The next thing we need to get this working is an ender chest, but I almost feel like maybe we should try it without that. We're probably going to want to go with one of these, because these can be configured to sync up to an ender pouch. And have we ever actually used those? I know, yeah, you know what? We have. We absolutely have. And look, there's one right there. But you might recall we used to use them when teleporting between Earth and our other dimensions. And it was super convenient because it meant that if we were carrying too much, we could dump it into an ender chest, and then we would be lighter, we'd be able to travel back here, and then pull it all out of the ender chest, which was very useful. Unfortunately, not so much anymore. I say unfortunately, but we did figure out that we could just throw things in an alchemical bag, and that worked just as well. Do I need to, like, search for the bag? Because I know that I had a bag once. And I don't know where it is. Interesting. It is called, actually, a pouch. I keep saying bag, but ender, it should show up. And it does not. So I don't know whatever happened to it. Did I leave it inside of the ender chest? That would have been a neat trick, but unfortunately I did not. So I'm just going to have to build one real fast. And it's not a difficult recipe. Leather, blaze, ender, wool. So leather, and then blaze. And if you ever wonder why it is I will grab stacks of items, it is because it is easier than remembering the exact amount. And I actually got out of the order there. I went to wool, which I knew was the last one, and that confused me. So we've got our ender pouch, and now I can just throw all that back in there. Now let's go see if we can figure this out. This might be a bit of a trick here, because I did not do any testing for this beforehand. And I don't know if I really fully understand the concept, but I'm assuming the idea is that, first off, it'll have to connect up to here. So we'll go ahead and grab a unrouted transport pipe will probably be fine. There we go. And then we'll put down our ender chest is not, nope, that's not correct. That is not correct. A remote order chest. And then I don't know if it matters if this plugs into the top. But that's configured. And then we have our remote orderer. Right-click that onto there. Connected to pipe. Oh, I see how this works. And that's what... Oh my gosh, okay. What I didn't understand was how we were supposed to order. Because I thought that you had to interact with the pipe. Based on no research. Just reading the instructions and looking at the items in the game, I assumed you had to, like, in some way interact with this pipe in order to order items. So maybe you come up to it with a wrench and you go in there and you boop, 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 configure things. I didn't realize that you had a remote orderer. So let's say we're like way over here and we need something that doesn't have an EMC value. Like, let's say, and it would have to be something that's stored in the network. So let's say we needed bronze, right? Well, okay, I'm confused. Let's see. Let's read up on this. Has a remote pipe. Lets you manually request items remotely. Can pull from any item source. It has that in caps, like an item source is like something that exists. Let's see. Source. Water pump pipe. Outputs a small amount of water if placed over a water source block. Useful, but not what I'm looking for here. See, I kind of assumed it would pull from anything that had a... You're a bad example. Anything that had a quicksort module, right? Because the quicksort module is what allows items to be extracted to places where they're needed. So I kind of thought if I clicked on here and said, hey, I need iron requests, but like, is something supposed to pop up here? Craft, supply, both. Pop up. Request items. Refresh. It's definitely hooked up to the system. So... Oh, and then the reason you have the ender pouch is because, like, let's say you're over here and you request items using this, they'll get dropped into that chest, and then you can open this up, and that's the same inventory. It's going to work. I just have to figure out how it's going to work. Interesting. Wait, what is this? Item translocator. From translocators. That's nothing at all what we're supposed to be looking at here. It's just a translocator. Liquid and item translocators. What? How does that work? Also, a diamond nugget. What do these do? What is it? Adding both of these as to our list of things to craft in the future and figure out, because I've not seen those before. That's a bit odd, isn't it? I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. It's definitely turned on. Maybe it's the placement for some reason. Maybe we need to hook it up like closer to a place where a lot of... Oh, you know what? I got an idea. What if we hooked it up down here where all of these advanced alloys are? So what if we just go ahead and plop this thing down right there? Immediately doesn't like that, and I can see why. Maybe hooking it up back here ought to work just fine. Yeah, there we go. And then we will hook up our ender chest. I can guarantee you, Brandon is watching this and is immediately like, I can't believe he can't figure it out. I thought I made it so clear. I can't. I didn't think I'd need to give him more information than this. I am beside myself right now that he can't figure this out. You feel like the items would be here, but they're not. Why aren't they? And in case you were wondering, I can't right-click it, and I can't click on it with a wrench in any way, other than to like possibly break it. I do see the green, and then I do see the red, but I think that's fine because you see that over here as well. I don't know why it is kind of connected to the ground there. I think that it just places like little supports, right? To make the pipes look more realistic. Because it does that here on the lights as well. I've noticed this and never commented on it. I think it's kind of cool, but I do also like the aesthetic of just like a floating pipe, as you see here from Buildcraft. If I can get out from underneath my glass ceiling here. But that's not the point. The point is, how do I make you work? What have we got here? Okay, I'm on the FTB wiki. It's an outdated version, I can tell just by the recipe. But let's see. The remote order logistics pipe allows you to access the network wirelessly in conjunction with a remote orderer. We have one of those. It's fantastic. Wish it would work. When the item is ordered with the remote orderer, the request item will go to the pipe, where it will be placed in an adjacent inventory or on the ground. This in conjunction with ender storage chest. That's what we're trying to do here. Once placed, right-click on the pipe with a remote order to link the order to it. Place an inventory like a chest right next to it now. When a request from the item remote orderer, when you request, the items will be put into the chest for use. All right, we're connected to the pipe. I feel like I, I feel like I might be dumb. You know what I mean? I wonder if it has something to do with the way that we've been doing this with quicksort modules. Maybe that's not the right module to use. Maybe it can't see these things in the network. But that doesn't make sense because that's what all of these are using, and it's working just fine. You know, if you have a look inside of here, all we have is an item sync, and it's able to locate items on the network that it wants with the quicksort module. So why would the quicksort module be the wrong thing to use? I don't know. I can't figure it out. All right, I'm on the Tekkit Lite wiki now. The GUI will show all items that can be ordered from connected chests or other inventories. Note that you can only order items from chests that are connected to a provider logistics pipe or auto-crafting tables that have a set recipe and are connected to the crafting. Okay, all right, well, we've learned something new here. We've learned something new. We've learned about a provider logistics pipe, which I'm opening in a new inventory. The provider logistics pipe is... Should we go ahead and look that up? Let's see. Probably should spell it right. Provider. There it is. It's going to be one of these two. Fluid provider, regular provider. Attached to an inventory, sends 16 items into a network on request, ignores suppliers on the same block. So, is that different than what we're doing here? I think this will send a whole stack of items upon request, so I don't know. At least I think that's how the quicksort module works. I could be wrong. But that seems like it's just like you don't even need to add anything to it. Oh, let me keep reading. Let me keep reading. It's attached to it will extract the items. The provider logistics pipe MK2 extracts items 16 at a time. Why 16 at a time? Also, didn't I just read that? Is that what this says? What does this say? There is no MK2. There's only the one. I guess they got rid of the lower one in newer versions. So, when right-clicked with a build-a-craft wrench, a GUI will be brought up with the Items to Provide section, an Include-Exclude button, and a Switch button. Items to Provide. Place items here, which the provider logistics pipe should be allowed to pull out of an adjacent inventory if requested. Leaving this empty allows all the items to be pulled out. I mean, that's fine. We'll do that. Include-Exclude. Yep, gotcha. Switch allows you to cycle through 5 modes for additional configuration options for ignoring items. And note, setting the mode leave 1 item per stack in combination with a polymorphic item sync module in a logistics chassis connected to the same inventory creates an easy way to configure which items will be stored in this chest. Is recommended if you have a limited amount of resources for logistic pipes and want to store many different items, 9+ in small quantities, less than 1 stack in one inventory. There's a lot to read here that I'm not going to read any further. I guess the first thing we need to do is we need to build another remote. So we've got that. And we need to come over here, toss that bad boy in there. And now we've got to find... First off, someone did comment about crafting pipes. And I suppose I should look that comment up next, too. Just to make sure that we cover all of our bases here. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. You can use logistics crafting table for instant crafting. But, like, logistics crafting table, is that just the crafting... logistics pipe? I guess we should go ahead and just compile it, even if we're not going to go ahead and get that right now. See, I feel like so much of what we are learning today is going to have a fundamental impact on how we configure the rest of the assembly line. And it's going to actually possibly change so much. Folks, we might have to go back and redo a lot of the work we've already done if we really want to get this system set up as efficiently as possible. That's kind of what I'm learning here. And then also, what am I looking for right now? A provider logistics pipe. Oh, apparently I've already done that. I don't remember ever doing that. I probably did it as part of that time early in the series where I just had not a gosh darn clue what I was doing and just sort of trying things desperately. We're going to need to store this one up on the wall too here when we're done. Take that bag out there and let's see what goes into this bad boy. Can I go ahead and make one? Provider logistics pipes. Let's make like 5 of them again. That tends to be what we go for. And I mean, the one issue I have here with the way that this is currently configured, that was odd. Did you what? Oh, interesting. Okay. No, I see what's happening now. I figured it out. I'm not as confused as I once was. What was I in the middle of saying? I've already forgotten. Oh yeah. One thing that I have an issue with here is that this, using the logistics chassis, means that we can both insert items into these chests and extract them. But for these, that's not necessary. That's not necessary at all. It's only necessary down here, where, oh, it looked like some items just came back up the line. I wonder why. I don't have an explanation for that. Unless they're just getting sent out somewhere that's not capable of receiving them for some reason. Yeah, they're coming back. See, that means that something's not right out there, and I'll need to go address that. But one place that this would work just fine is up here, where they're only being extracted. Now, right now, we have it set up with 2 quicksort modules. So this could actually negatively impact the speed with which this operates. But because I don't know where else is going to be a good place to test this, we're going to try them here. So we'll plop that down there. And then I don't know what I need to do. I right-click on it, switch. We definitely want to just leave that as normal. And then apparently if we don't configure it in any way at all, it'll just extract everything out of here. But it kind of doesn't look like anything is being extracted out of here at all at the moment. So it's almost like it's not working. But if we get this back out, and we right-click on it. Oh, look, diamonds! Diamonds, everyone. So if I select diamonds, and I say I want 10 diamonds, and I hit request, successful. Was it? Did they get sucked out? Gosh darn it, we weren't able to see. Let's do it again. I guess I should probably select them and then hit request. Yeah! Okay, I saw it happen. There they go. So, I mean, it'll take a while. Oh, look, there's 10 diamonds. And now we just wait. We just wait like a hot minute here. We wait patiently. Any second now. 11 diamonds. So, what happened, just to make sure everyone's aware, because I'm sure you're all tracking, but just in case you're not, that's okay. I'm not sure if I would be tracking either in this situation, because it's gotten very messy. What we have here is this is the remote order pipe that can order anything from the network so long as it's connected with a provider logistics pipe, okay? That's important is what we've learned. Then we have the remote orderer that we sync by right-clicking it onto there, and that can be used to order things. It'll automatically drop them onto the ground or onto a connected inventory. In this case, it's the ender chest that's connected, so when we order things, they go into the ender chest. But because that's connected via quantum mechanics to an ender pouch, we can access its inventory from anywhere in the world. So anything that's connected to the network using the provider logistics pipe can be ordered and extracted on the go. And then what we could do is we could have another chest that feeds back into the network and have another pouch with another ender chest where we just dump all the things, where if we order like a bunch of things that we don't need, we can then return the ones like when we're done with whatever we're doing, using another ender chest into like a dump chest that just kind of sorts everything back out to where it was going or where it should be. The issue I see with that is, of course, we'd need 2 pipes connected to the inventory because we have that, sure, but if we want to feed items back in, we'll need a separate pipe on the other side with like an item sync to accept those items back in. Or, I mean, everything gets piped out somewhere else eventually, so it could just be, like this chest down here, eventually everything I throw in it will probably be extracted to somewhere else, except for these items, but that's a bad example. I don't know how long they've been in there. There we go. This is cool, and I like it, except for the fact that I've yet to see it pull items out for... And that's the thing. We know that it works now with an order pipe, but what about something like where we need diamonds, say, right over... Where do we need diamonds? Do we need diamonds right here? This is starting to run out of diamonds. And it's not being restocked. Because this works using the quicksort modules. But there was that other type of pipe. So this is the provider pipe. And in that other comment I was reading, give me a moment here. Maybe we need a supplier pipe. Maybe that's what we need. Hold on. Provider, supplier. And passive supplier and active supplier. I wonder what the difference is. So, well, hold on. There's actual pipes as well. Automatically fills a chest or machine, can get items from any item source, ignores providers on the same block, and then there's also one for fluid and one for, well, container supplier. Whatever. Look, what we need to focus on right here. Active item requester automatically fills a chest or machine, can get items from any item source, ignores providers in the same block. See, what I wonder about is, can this be configured to use multiple or request multiple different items? That's going to be what matters at the end of the day more than anything else. So what I'm doing right now, and you can't see this happening, you just have to trust me. I've got a wiki open here, and I'm going to type in the supplier logistics pipe. And I didn't spell logistic correct. There we go. And according to this, the supplier logistics pipe can actively request items from a network to keep specified items in adjacent inventory stocked. It also serves for routing purposes. There is an items to keep stocked section. Partial requests, no. What does that do? The default setting, no, causes the supplier logistics pipe to only send a request if it can be fulfilled completely by the network. Setting to yet causes the pipes to request partial amounts if the full amount isn't available. So we'd want to keep that on. Items to keep stocked. Place items in here to specify the desired type and amount. Which the pipe should try to keep in stock in the adjacent inventory. So we could specify the exact amount that we want stocked in here. If we didn't want this to be stocked with this much redstone, presumably, we could configure it to not be stocked with that much redstone. But then also, there's a crafting one. That's the thing. There's a pipe that automatically crafts. So do we even need these? For right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this back out. And I will replace it with the MK3 chassis and the 2 quicksort modules, and that'll keep everything stocked up and running. This raises a lot of questions, though. And boy, doesn't this all look small? There was a time, not that many episodes ago, where what we had accomplished felt huge. Like, we had done so much and come so far, but in light of the factory, and what's happening to it, and the growth and the expansion, it's just such a tiny little piece of this otherwise massive undertaking. And here's kind of where I'm sitting on it right now. I think we're going to let all that keep operating as it is. But I think as we move forward, I'd like to do a little bit more research into the crafting pipes, as well as the supplier and the request pipes, what are they called? Provider and supplier pipes and all of that. Possibly build some of those. And rework from the back forward all of our current systems. So we have everything that's currently being produced over there and over there, eventually moved up to these floors where they're using things like the gravity pipes and the golden pipes. And then eventually the providers and the suppliers. And then why is there diamonds on the ground? It's a mess. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. 53 of them to be exact. There's a lot to learn still. And there's a lot of progress to be made. That'll have to wait until next time. Until then, thank you folks for watching. Thank you for continuing to go on this journey with me. God bless each and every one of you, and I'll see you later. Goodbye!